This video is brought to you by a donation from Jonathan. He wanted to know if there was a cover-up with the Sam Cooke murder case. Sam Cooke is known as the King of Soul and was a pioneer in the music industry. He was one of the first musicians to create a company to manufacture and package his records. Sam Cooke always said a white man would never end up with everything he made and worked for. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened.
It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come.
Alright, so let's take a look at why they killed Sam Cooke. In this first section, I want to speak about Sam being a pioneer. So Sam Cooke was a gospel singer. He left gospel music because the money was in secular music. Sam wanted to make it big and then go back and bring more gospel singers into secular music. Sam is commonly known as the King of Soul. Not only was Sam a great singer, he was a hit songwriter. Sam had 29 consecutive top 40 hits between 1957 and 1964, from the hit songs You Send Me, which was #1 in both the US pop and R&B charts, to Wonderful World, Chain Gang, Twisting the Night Away, Change Gon' Come, and Bring It On Home to Me, and many more. One day at a barbershop in Los Angeles, Fats Domino thought Sam was crazy when he asked him if he ever thought about owning his own music, copyright, and catalog. Sam Cooke started his own recording company, Tracy Ltd., named after his daughter, which would manufacture and package his recordings. Now let's get into a section I call Personality and Background. Sam Cooke learned a lot about black history from Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. Sam would purchase black history books and pass it out to black kids in the neighborhood. Sam would stop in the hood and break up fights. Sam had a big heart and didn't forget where he came from. Sam got around and had a lot of women and ran through many church girls. Now let's talk about the official story of how Sam Cooke died. Alright, so let's take a look at the official story of Sam Cooke's death. Sam Cooke died at the age of 33 on December the 11th, 1964, at the Hacienda Motel at 9137 South Figueroa Street in Los Angeles, California. Answering separate reports of a shooting and a kidnapping at the motel, police found Cooke's body, clad only in a sports jacket and shoes but no shirt, pants, or underwear. He had sustained a gunshot wound to the chest, which was later determined to have pierced his heart. The motel's manager, Bertha Franklin, said she had shot Cooke in self-defense after he broke into her office residence and attacked her. Her account was immediately questioned and disputed by friends and acquaintances. The official police records state that Franklin fatally shot Cooke, who had checked in earlier that evening. Franklin claimed that Cooke had broken into the manager's office apartment in a rage, wearing nothing but a shoe and a sports coat, demanding to know the whereabouts of a woman who had accompanied him to the hotel. Franklin said the woman was not in the office and that she told Cooke this, but the enraged Cooke did not believe her and violently grabbed her, demanding again to know the woman's whereabouts. According to Franklin, she grappled with Cooke, the two of them fell to the floor, and she then got up and ran to retrieve her gun. She said she then fired at Cooke in self-defense because she feared for her life. Cooke was struck once in the torso. According to Franklin, he exclaimed, "Lady, you shot me," before mounting a last charge at her. She said she beat him over the head with a broomstick before he finally fell, mortally wounded by the gunshot. The motel's manager, Evelyn Carr, claimed that she had been on the telephone with Franklin at the time of the incident. Carr claimed to have overheard Cooke's intrusion and the ensuing conflict and gunshot. She called the police to request that officers go to the motel, telling them she believed a shooting had occurred. A coroner's inquest was convened to investigate the incident. The woman who had accompanied Cooke to the motel was identified as Alicia Boyer, who had also called police that night shortly before Carr had. Boyer had called from a telephone booth near the hotel, telling them she had just escaped being kidnapped. Boyer told the police that she had first met Cooke early that night and had spent the evening in his company. She claimed that after they left a local nightclub together, she had repeatedly requested that he take her home, but he instead took her against her will to the Hacienda Motel. She claimed that once in one of the motel's rooms, Cooke physically forced her onto the bed and that she was certain he was going to rape her. According to Boyer, when Cooke stepped into the bathroom for a moment, she quickly grabbed her clothes and ran from the room. She claimed that in her haste, she also scooped up most of Cooke's clothing by mistake. She said she ran first to the manager's office and knocked on the door, seeking help. However, she said the manager took too long in responding, so fearing Cooke would soon be coming after her, she fled from the motel before the manager ever opened the door. She said she then put her clothing back on, hid Cooke's clothing, went to the telephone booth, and called police. Boyer's story is the only account of what happened between her and Cooke that night. However, her story has long been called into question. Inconsistencies between her version of events and details reported by other witnesses, as well as circumstantial evidence, suggest that Boyer may have gone willingly to the motel with Cooke and then slipped out of the room with his clothing in order to rob him, rather than escape an attempted rape. However, questions about Boyer's role were beyond the scope of the inquest, the purpose of which was only to establish the circumstances of Franklin's role in the shooting. Boyer's leaving the motel room with almost all of Cooke's clothing and the fact that tests showed Cooke was inebriated at the time provided a plausible explanation to the inquest jurors of Cooke's bizarre behavior and state of dress. In addition, because Carr's testimony corroborated Franklin's version of events, and because both Boyer and Franklin later passed lie detector tests, the coroner's jury ultimately accepted Franklin's explanation and returned a verdict of justifiable homicide. With that verdict, authorities officially closed the case of Cooke's death. Some of Cooke's family and supporters, however, have rejected Boyer's version of events, as well as those given by Franklin and Carr. They believe that there was a conspiracy to murder Cooke and that the murder took place in some manner entirely different from the three official accounts. Singer Etta James viewed Cooke's body before his funeral and questioned the accuracy of the official version of events. She wrote that the injuries she observed were well beyond the official account of Cooke having fought Franklin alone. James wrote that Cooke was so badly beaten that his head was nearly separated from his shoulders. His hands were broken and crushed, and his nose mangled. Some people speculated that Cooke's manager, Alan Klein, might have had a role in his death. Alan owned Tracy Ltd., which ultimately owned all the rights of Cooke's recordings. Alright, so now let's take a look at what really happened. So first I want to start off by saying that Sam Cooke was a bachelor. He was a ladies' man. And Barbara also got around. She was loose. So Sam got Barbara pregnant, and his father told him to just go ahead and marry her, being that he's coming from a religious background. He was doing gospel music. His father said, hey, do the right thing, just marry the girl, which was a big mistake. Well, let's continue. So Barbara began to withhold sex from Sam, and as a result, Sam, being a ladies' man, being a bachelor, continued to do his thing on the side. Barbara got into an affair with the 19-year-old Bobby Womack. Barbara was unloyal and claimed she was upset about Sam's affairs. Sam was aware of his wife's infidelity. Sam hired Alan Klein as his manager, and Alan helped him secure a contract with RCA. Sam asked Alan to set up the company Tracy Ltd., named after his daughter, for him, and Alan took the money and set himself up as the owner. Sam made his friend J.W. Alexander a business partner, but J.W. Alexander didn't have his best interests at heart. In the company Tracy Ltd., Sam Cooke was the president, but the president is not the owner. J.W. Alexander was the vice president, Sam's father was on the board of directors, and Alan Klein was his secretary. On the official record, the owner of the company was Alan Klein. Alan set the articles of incorporation up for him to be the owner, he manipulated the paperwork and gave Sam phony documents. One day, Sam Cooke found out Klein was robbing him and was going to fire him, but Klein had the phone tapped and heard Sam's plans. Sam was about to divorce Barbara, and the final straw was when their 2-year-old son died by venturing outside and falling in the pool while she was on the phone with some man. When they found out what Sam was going to do, they planned his murder. They conspired to kill Sam to prevent him from cutting them off. Klein, J.W. Alexander, Barbara, and Los Angeles mob associates was in on it. Associates with the Los Angeles mob played a role in financing Sam's career earlier on. Sam only wanted to use them up to a certain point and then move on. It's believed that associates with the mob was involved with his death and cover-up. Boyer, a prostitute, already knew Sam from previous encounters. A Mickey was put in Sam's drink, and it's believed that Alicia was the one who did it. They both left martinis and went to the PJs, and then Sam got into a scuffle with a guy that tried to holler at Alicia, the prostitute. The Mickey kicked in and the killers drove off with Sam and Boyer. Someone else then drove Sam's Ferrari to South Central Los Angeles. The killers stripped Sam naked and then beat him to death. Alright, so now let's take a look at my final thoughts and some books that I recommend. Now, the first book I recommend is The Polygamous Papers by Hondo Solomon. Now, me personally, I don't believe that monogamy is natural. And even for those religious people out there, even in the Bible, it talks about polygamy. We had Esau, Solomon, David, Moses, Jacob. They all had multiple wives. So I do recommend you guys to go ahead and purchase this book and soak in the information. I don't think marriage is a good idea in the United States because of the gynocentric society we live in, and because the court system is rigged, whereas someone can just divorce you and take half of what you have. So it's really ridiculous. So go ahead and check this book out. And then we have The Manipulated Man. This book was written by Esther Villar, a female. I do recommend this book for men in the United States, especially because the race wars, the hangings, the burn-ins were predicated upon white females lying and saying that they were raped by black men. And then you had these white simps go around burning, looting, and hanging black men. And now we have the single mother epidemic in the black community, and now we see an influx of simps and manginas in the black community who are completely oblivious to female nature and how to be a man. So I do recommend getting this book. It has changed my life. The Manipulated Man by Esther Villar. Then we have the book The Rational Male by Rollo Tomasi, another book that has changed my life and should be read along with The Manipulated Man and The Polygamous Papers. And of course, if you are a black American, you have to read The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. This will unplug you from the matrix and give you not only a good understanding of female nature, but black female nature, because it's completely different than other females of different races. Now, if you want to understand the music industry, I do recommend Dancing with the Devil, How Puff Burned the Bad Boys of Hip Hop, and then of course Hitmen, Power Brokers and Fast Money Inside the Music Business. And then finally, The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders. These books are recommended to have a good understanding on what's going on in the music industry and what black entertainers are up against when they step foot in the music industry. Now let's take a look at my final thoughts. I believe Sam Cooke should have never gotten married. He should have had bodyguards or at least a posse for protection. He should have never trusted Klein and should have at least double-checked the documents with an attorney. Klein went on to cheat the Rolling Stones and the Beatles out of millions of dollars. And one lesson I want you black Americans to learn is that those who use their mind make more money than those who use their flesh or muscle. This includes singing, dancing, running, jumping, fighting, etc. We have enough black Americans that are using their flesh, their muscle, their talent. We need more thinkers. We need more black Americans that are using their mind. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you the fact that the dominant society and news channels like CNN want to promote the fact that black Americans are making so much money from playing basketball. But they don't show you the fact that the owner of the basketball team is making 10 to 100 times more than that basketball player. Because the dominant society wants to keep black Americans as the talent. And they want to be the managers. They want to be the owners. I don't care what one single white person tells you. I'm talking about the collective want to keep black Americans as the talent, as the individuals who are the labor force, while they use their mind and maintain and manage black Americans. That's how they want it. All the evidence points to that fact, right? The tragic story of Sam Cooke and many others is why black celebrities refuse to create big corporations, or at least own, manufacture, and package their own products, because they would be in fear of their life in losing their career. I'm also going to add another clip at the end of this video showing you how Irv Gotti, Jay Prince, and Suge Knight got together with a couple other fellas to try to make a music company, and in a week they all caught cases. Even recently you had a black rapper who went to withdraw $500,000, I believe, and as he exited the bank he was arrested for taking money out of his own account. You see? Alright, so that's my video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And until next time, this is Conspiracy Dude.
CNN Money has a fascinating video that visualizes income inequality in the United States. It shows how much the rich make in just 60 seconds. Okay, that first bubble is Kobe Bryant's income. He's an all-star forward for the LA Lakers, of course. In just 5 seconds, he's earning $14. That's twice as much as the minimum wage worker would make in 2 hours. On the right is Rex Tillerson, CEO of ExxonMobil. He's banking almost $5 in 15 seconds. At 25 seconds, an average physician makes only 34 cents. At half a minute, an elementary school teacher hits 21 cents. In the meantime, let's go back to Kobe Bryant's bubble. He's back there over at $81. And CEO Rex Tillerson, he's got more than 14. By 50 seconds, the President of the United States is earning $2.40. And if we add it all up to a minute, a median wage worker in the U.S. has just 27 cents. You see, it's an interesting video at CNN Money, but you get the point. If you look at incomes, there are two Americas growing further apart.
We have to look at Damon Dash. We have to look at Suge Knight. We have to look at Irv Gotti. And we have to look at Jay Prince. These four gentlemen that got together and was going to put up $30 million apiece to get and create their own distribution company to distribute black music. These people got together and said, we'll never let it happen. It'll happen over our dead bodies. All in 1 week, I'm telling you the short version of the story. All in 1 week, they raided the offices of these four brothers. I'm going to say them again. Damon Dash, Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Jay Prince out of Texas. The FBI raided their offices and confiscated their records and started piecing together cases against these brothers. And Suge Knight, you already know his story.
Yeah.
You understand? Went through some court cases, ended up having a white Jewish woman, the owner now of everything that Death Row had put out. And I think she bought it for $22 million. No, $25 million. Ain't that something?
25.
Shows the entire catalog. I'm going to have to get this woman's name so I can put it in my records. Irv Gotti, him and his brother was brought up on charges, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Several years ago. And his thing was publicized because they raided his offices and tried to connect him to some mob ties and some drug dealing and that kind of thing. Thanks to your man, 50 Cent. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then Rap-A-Lot owner Jay Prince, who they connected to embezzling money and fraud and laundering money, this kind of thing. But Jay-Z was privy to this information, and Jay-Z was one of the ones that took it back to them. So what did they do? They bought Jay-Z off, to tell the short version of the story.
What's the deal here? I went in the bank, you know. I went and I got $200,000 on my account, and I was in the bank, and they I come out the bank, I see the police. I'm walking to the car, I see one of them putting my bag like him. So they come bum rush me at the car and put me on the ground, put guns to my head, you know, like. So I'm like, what I do? And then later was like, I was supposed to have $200,000 on me. So I'm like, I'm a millionaire. Like, how can I not have $200,000 on me? They said somebody wrote a bogus check, and they thought I did a bogus check too, but I'm legit. So they confused me with whoever they was looking for. They confused me with them and thought I was doing something bogus. Until they realized when they checked my account, saying I was worth 1.3 million, and they realized, you know, he a multi-millionaire. So we gotta let him go. And they apologized to me, but they just took $100,000 of my money. I'm gonna go to the police precinct right now and go get my other $100,000. So I'm gonna get my money from them, and I'm gonna get out the city. I got to roll.
So I know some of you guys are wondering who will be the next president of the United States. Some of my family members have told me that they're going to vote for Bernie Sanders.